Press releases can be really powerful to generate free traffic and authority for any website. Why a press release? There's limited competition for a good press release. For most keywords, most terms, especially for local businesses, this is an just amazing gold mine that you can tap into. Google loves new press releases. Why? Because they're new info, and Google loves new updated info. It'll rank them very high if you do this right and follow our directions, and very quickly in their search engine results. Literally, if you do things correctly, your press release will go into Google News and get ranked in Google News and possibly Google within minutes, literally 2-3 minutes after posting when you submit this properly. Plus, Google News grabs up every properly syndicated press release and syndicates it across the web. Google News gets 1 billion views per week and delivers 4 billion clicks per week. The syndicated news sites have their own readership that will see your story, read it, and interested persons will visit your site as well. The regular use of press releases gives you several benefits. News outlets, bloggers, and other writers are constantly looking for new stories to write. They might notice your press release and write a story about your offer. These writers might also find your press release while doing research on a particular topic and contact you for more information, or simply add you into their piece. Because press releases are syndicated by Google News and others, they appear on high-quality sites that provide excellent backlinks for your site. This syndication on high-quality sites improves the authority and value of your brand. When people search for your company, they see you reported and talked about on these sites. That will help greatly with your reputation management. When your press release contains several sentences using your company name and keyword in the same sentence, you improve Google's recognition of your brand. This co-occurrence and co-citation improves the probability that search queries will result in your business showing up when and where you want it to at the top of the rankings. So let's go to how to post a press release. We'll talk about how to write one in a minute, but you could also, of course, hire someone to write these for you if you're not sure how to do it or you're not comfortable writing, or English, and let's assume you're marketing English and English is not your first language. But once you've done it, you need to submit that press release through approved sources so that it gets added to news sites. These approved sources are companies like PR Web. They charge $159 for each press release that they publish. And it's worth it because you get this great authority and syndication and backlinks and traffic and everything else that goes with it. But that can obviously get to be really, really expensive. So we built our own answer to that. We use a lot of press releases for ourselves and our clients. We built our own approved site and syndication service so that we could submit press releases as often as we want without paying the $159 or higher fee for every single promotion. And as a Webfire member, you get to use our press release service for free as part of your membership. And since a good plan is to submit one press release per week, Webfire members save over $600 a month just using our press release service, which works fabulously well for them. Submitting the press release, once it's written, is fairly straightforward. You just follow the instructions on the submission form for the service that you're using, fill in the blanks, copy, paste, and you're all good to go. So how do you write a press release? Now, first realize you don't have to write a Pulitzer Prize winning press release. Showing up is way more important than having the best press release ever written. Second, understand that once you know the standard format for a press release, most people consider them easier writing than an article. We'll give you a template to follow. By merely filling in the sections of the template, you'll be halfway done. Then we'll look at some examples. And you can always search Google News to find examples for your market. And we'll give you our secret press release formula to get those front page rankings more easily. Like all online promotion, your first step is to do keyword research to see what you should target. You certainly want to knock down top rankings for the broadest possible term, like weight loss, but that's nearly impossible. First, that term will have a lot of actual news stories on the topic each day. Second, you're competing against billion-dollar companies for that exact term, and their news will usually carry more weight than yours. So you'll generally obtain success more easily by targeting more specific terms like weight loss for women over 40. With less competition, you can easily rank for terms like these. If you're promoting a local business, press releases are even more powerful because there is naturally less competition. In fact, you'll find in most cases that none of the competition are regularly using press releases, so you'll be able to easily dominate with this strategy. Before you even write your press release, you'll want to research the top keywords in your market. Then search them in Google News to see what the results show. The best results are ones that show no results matching your keywords. But results with 1 or 2 matches will work fine if there's sufficient keyword volume. Just try a few different keywords from your list and pick the one that looks the best to you for this press release. If you're doing this on a regular basis, and we suggest you should be doing this once a week for your business, then you'll work your way through your list of various keywords. And once you get to the bottom, you can just start again at the top and do it all over again. So before we take a look at a good press release, here's the main points to keep in mind. Number 1, this is news written in a professional tone. Number 2, this is not a sales letter or an article. Number 3, all the facts mentioned must have 100% proof. You cannot just make stuff up. Number 4, the minimum size of a press release is 300 words, and you really don't need to be much longer than that. You'll see they're pretty much a standard size as you go through this. And number 5, be sure to very carefully check for spelling and grammatical errors. It's embarrassing to try to publish news that has mistakes in it. The basic press release format starts with a header. It's not a headline, it's a header. And on a press release, usually you're going to have immediate release, so you'd say for immediate release. If it's not for release until a specific date, let's say you want to announce an upcoming event and you want to do it next Monday, but you submit a press release today, then you would say next Monday's date. But that's it, okay? Now, remember I mentioned earlier, simply filling in the sections of the template, you'll be halfway to writing your first press release. Well, see, this is pretty easy. You can fill in for immediate release. Then there's going to be a headline for the press release. And you want to balance between shock value, which you think of a headline for a good sales letter, and making an announcement, because you can't be too insane or it doesn't actually look like a legitimate press release and it's not going to get accepted. A shocking headline is something that you think of that should just reach out and grab you by the hair, shake your eyes out of their sockets, right? We want to get somebody's attention. And if you think of the headlines on supermarket tabloids, when you walk through the checkout line at the grocery store, right? You see the National Enquirer and the similar magazines with those crazy headlines like Man Eats Own Head, those kind of things. So outrageous headlines that honestly relate to the content of the press release are what you're looking for, if you can come up with that. Now, it doesn't always fit, but if it works, it's great. Now, these are a little bit more tamed down because you can use these, but you got to think outrageous and then tame it down because it's hard to think calm and then make it more outrageous. So if you have things like who else wants to look like a movie star, or secrets that the credit card companies don't want you to know, the top 7 things you must know before traveling this summer, things that are going to entice people, they're going to generate interest, people want to know what these things are, if it applies to them, that's going to draw them in, it's going to create curiosity. Now, if we want to make an announcement, a lot of times we want to announce something, we want to announce a sale, a new product, a new website, a new line of products, a closeout deal, whatever it might be, then we can do things. Now, these are some real examples. You see, these are pretty lame. So they need to be improved. But just to give you an idea of the complete opposite end of it, service delivery management software, Clear Computing Online, available now. Do It in Person partners with Village Poorhouse to launch a passport program. Studica launches UnityEducators.org, a Unity Educators user group. See, I sound like I'm a PBS announcer. PBS is public broadcasting here in the States. If you're not from the States, you might not be familiar with that. And this is pretty doggone boring, right? Unless you happen to be looking for something, like who partnered up to launch a passport program. So if you're going to announce something, you want to think of the benefit to the reader and why they're going to be interested in that. Now, I don't want to confuse you, but I think you get the idea. We want to get attention. We don't want to go overboard. We want to be in a good position. And the more you do this, the more you look at other people's press releases, you'll get more ideas how to do this. You want people to click on your press release. We want them to read it. We want them to come visit your website. But we don't want Google and the other news outlets to ignore it or reject it because it's not couched in the proper press release format and news language that they require for a valid press release. Now, last but very, very important, when it comes to the headline of your press release, you have to deliver on the promise proclaimed in your headline. You can't do a bait and switch. For example, you can't use the example of 6-foot man eating chicken, and then the press release talks about a guy who's 6 feet tall eating a piece of chicken, right? If you've got a 6-foot man eating chicken, you better have a 6-foot chicken. The date line. Now, the date line is pretty simple. It's the date line. It's the date of when this is going to be released to the public. So if it's for immediate release and it's today, the dateline is today. And you put that in, and you also put where this is located, the city and the state or the country that this is being released for, so people know when they search geographically where your business is located. Some press release services let you use a subtitle, and most will. And when you do that, your goal is to create a teaser. Okay, kind of giving people only half a thought or idea, something that's going to make them want to read the next line. The whole purpose of this press release, like any really good marketing piece, is to lead you from top to bottom. It's to get you to start with the headline. And you read the headline, you're like, wow, I wonder what this is, some more information about this. And you see the subhead, this subtitle, this teaser. And then you want to read the body, and that leads you down through the actual press release. So if you saw something like, how did 29-year-old Mary Scott of Boise, Idaho get car insurance for only $17.99 a month? Or maybe explain the benefit, okay, that in a way that is showing people what's in it for me. This is everyone's favorite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? So if you start to explain how drivers in Georgia just got a huge discount on their insurance, people who are in Georgia might think, wow, I maybe should read the rest of this and find out what the details are, right? But you don't give away all the information right away. You want to lead them down to the point where they see your website and they want to click through to that. So an actual subtitle here that they used, again, using an example to bore you to death, is Studica Inc., the education source for software and technology products, has launched Unity Educators.org, a Unity Educators user group designed to help bring game design and development to a classroom near you. I know I lost you guys. You fell asleep, right? But if we had something like this, do you feel an incredible love for game design and development? Want to earn your living designing software for the gaming industry? Studica Inc. has launched UnityEducators.org to bring game design education to a classroom near you. Now notice the difference. Huge, huge difference. Draws you in, gets your attention, ties in, brings in emotions. Okay, to summarize the subtitle, you want to have them click on your press release to read the whole thing, or else they're never going to see the link to your website or your opt-in page, right? If you give away the whole ball of wax, they have no incentive to click and read your press release. So draw them into the press release. If they don't read through, if they don't click, you can say goodbye to the sale, right? Always capitalize the first letter of each word in your subtitle. Make it short and sweet, 2 or 3 sentences at the most. Tease them into reading everything else. Now we get to the body. It's the main part of the actual press release itself, and the first paragraph is extremely important. Why? Because again, this is the first thing they're going to read at the top, so we need to draw them in. We want to have the most important elements of this press release presented in a concise manner people can consume, and then it leads them to read more or click directly to your website. Okay, so we actually don't care if they read the rest of your press release at this point as long as they click, right? You also want to get your keyword phrase in here as well, because you're going to be using your keywords preferably in the title and in this first paragraph, because that way this is going to rank best in the search engines. After the first paragraph, the next few paragraphs will expand on and go into more detail what's stated in the first paragraph. Again, this isn't going to be really long. We only need 300 words or so. But you want to give people valuable information or another viewpoint that other people wouldn't know, or something they haven't thought of, unless this is just a sale announcement, in which case you're just going to tell them how cool your stuff is and it's on sale. But if you're making an announcement about your store and why it's better, then you can do that. But a lot of good press releases will wrap around things like seasonal information, things that are updated. For example, if you have a lawn service and it's about to be spring and everything's going to start growing, you would talk about the 7 tips that everyone homeowner should use to get the best looking lawn and garden for summer, right? And the thing is to start now. So you're appealing to get their attention now, right? So you want to give away some quality facts, but again, if they're facts, you have to be honestly able to back them up. Don't say, this is the key to having roses that bloom 3 million roses in 10 minutes, unless you can prove that, okay? And you can think of some more outrageous ideas, I'm sure. The next to last paragraph is also important. Assuming somebody's read all the way down through your press release, we're going to now explain the benefit of what somebody should do, what's in it for me. From their standpoint, we know what's in it for you. We want to set up what's called the call to action. You'll hear this abbreviated or see it as CTA, call to action. This is where we're asking people to take an action. In this case, generally visit a website, but it could also be email you, pick up the phone and call. But you can't make it a sales pitch. Okay? News sites don't want sales pitches. Now, if someone's teased, intrigued, wants to visit, that's all good. But we don't want to get the press release blocked or thrown away or ignored. So we can't be crazy with our call to action. It can be as simple as for more information or to get the rest of the story or to get even more tips or to get this special report that has the top 11 tips to make roses bloom fast and beautiful and smell great every year. Bam, there you go. And at the very end of the press release is your contact info. It's usually going to be in a separate spot. And the info you put in is up to you. You can put in as much or as little contact information as you want to. You got to put your name in here. You can put a link to your website, but use the URL itself, the main website or the URL to the specific report or free giveaway or opt-in page that you want to use. You don't use anchor text. You actually put the actual website URL in there. If you're a local business, you're going to definitely want to put in your physical address and your phone number, and you should also include an email address. You're asking people to treat you credibly and to respond to your announcement, your release of new information that's going to want people to come visit you. And there's a couple ways you can use your email address in this. Again, depending upon the type of business you have, how aggressive you want to be, you can set up an autoresponder so that each time somebody tries to contact you, your email automatically replies to them and directs them to your website. Let's say you're just an affiliate, then you can set up your email, maybe just like with a vacation away message, basically that so someone sends an email to it, you reply with, thanks for contacting me. To get everything, just click on this link below and we'll get you more information on whatever your topic is. And that goes to your squeeze page or that goes to your affiliate link and sends them right where you want them to go. But if you're a local business with a product or a service, you're probably going to want to personally answer questions or have somebody on your staff do that. And so that's going to be an email address you're going to want to respond to personally or, again, have a staff member respond to. Now, many of you are going to be selling products as an affiliate. So one of the more aggressive things you can do is when people come to your website is to put them on an opt-in page right away so you can capture their email addresses, because otherwise you're not going to get their email address. And when you get these email addresses, obviously very, very valuable to you. You're going to have a targeted list of people that have responded online and be interested in a certain niche, and you can do very, very well then promoting this product and related products to them down the road. So you want to get them on a list, but if you don't have an opt-in page, you're not going to build a list. Instead, you're just going to be referring people to the actual seller. They're going to get the list. You're not going to get a list, which isn't the end of the world. You'll obviously make money by being an affiliate, but you're going to make even more money in the long run by building an email list. The reason this can be so effective is that you're going to usually have invited people to come get something else for free in this press release. And let's say it's the top 11 tips on something. When they come to the landing page, which will be an opt-in page, and you say, enter your name and email address so we can send you this top 11 tip report, then they enter that and then they get redirected to the sales piece from the other company that you're being an affiliate for. So this allows you to win in two ways. Number one, you got their email address. You can build a relationship. You can sell them later. You can hit them up with another offer or offers down the road. Remember when we talked about being an affiliate, about making a list of products you could be an affiliate for so you can follow up with people? And number two, you showed them the offer that they really want to learn more about and that you want them to learn more about and buy. And they showed an interest, of course, in this by clicking the link inside the press release and coming to visit your website. You see how the path to draw them in is being set up. You've got a headline that grabs their attention. A subtitle increases their interest. The first paragraph whets their appetite further. The body gives them more details, but leaves them wanting more. The last paragraph makes them bite. If you can tease them a little more by stating one more thing without going into any actual details, and they click on your link or your email address, and then you set the hook and you've got yourself a catch and a sale. Most press release services have their own forms where you just have to fill in the blanks and everything will be done. So you don't have to worry about formatting too much or anything else. And if you've written this ahead of time, and you should, then you're just going to copy and paste it into the form. Just focus exactly on what information you want to put in there and where it will lead them to on your website, so you've got that path that we followed. So let me restate the important parts of the press release so you can get a better understanding of that balance. And we want to remember to have news. This is a news story. This is not a sales letter, even though we're going to kind of be salesy and markety in it. It's going to be news, and we want to do that so the press release will get published. It will get syndicated. There's a chance of a lot of people picking this up out there, and that's going to help you create more traffic and sales once it gets out there. Okay, and I'm also going to give you a few more tips, so stick with me. When you're writing this press release, you want to think of yourself as a serious journalist and always write in the third person. You don't write this as, here's what I did, and I did that, I did this other thing. It's always, the company made an announcement, and the CEO of the company had this to say, these kind of things. And if you just look at some press releases, you'll get a flavor for this. But you want to make an announcement. One of the easiest ways to get started, even when you think, I have nothing to say, I don't have anything to announce in a press release, just get started by making an announcement. Announce that you have a new blog, a new post, a new website, a new product, a new sale, anything. You could even interview yourself, which I know sounds kind of weird, but I'm serious about that. You're both the reporter and the person being interviewed, but it's another way to get started and to get used to writing press releases. These really aren't complicated, and if you feel like you're stuck and can't do it, just go online and you can find somebody to write this for just a few dollars. And just give them your information. They can do it because that's what they do. Again, the most important detail should be included in the opening paragraph of the press release. This is the most vital part of it because it's the part that's going to get read the most, and then it's got to lead them into the rest of the press release. And then the remainder of the press release should contain more information about you and your business. And at the end, you include a call to action here. Don't let it come across as a sales pitch, but you want a call to action. And then understand how you want to set up your contact information, how much or how little you want to give out depending upon the kind of business that you're running. Quotes are great. Quotes are pretty awesome. If you can get good quotes, they're from yourself. You can write them, obviously. You can also put in facts or statistics. These are really great, but you got to reference them, prove they're true. You can't just say 117,365,000 of these things. You want to put a reference. So according to the Small Business Administration, there are 28 million small businesses in the United States. They very credible, very factual, and this exactly what a news story would do, right? You could also talk about the history of your product if you wanted to, as long as that relates to the topic of the press release. For instance, you're talking about having a sale on a product, and the XYZ company is having a one-time only sale on their best-selling product. This product ABC has been sold for the last year, and it's got thousands of satisfied customers, and they all paid $29, but this weekend you can get $10 off, right? You can also include images inside of the press release, but you don't have to. There are services, if you don't have your own pictures, that you can go and buy photos or find free stock images. Just make sure they're good for commercial use. And you can put those in, but you're not required to have an image to do the press release. So very simple outline. The header, right? That's at the very top for immediate release. That was the header, remember? Then we have the headline. You're going to grab their attention, the date line, right? The actual date and the location, city, state, country. And the first paragraph, the whole point of it, the summary of what you're trying to get their attention with is right there. Leads them through the middle paragraphs, then the last paragraph, that soft sell, that tease, that call to action, and your contact info, and you can do it. So here's some other thoughts for you to consider. Don't be intimidated by the phrase press release and think you have to write something that would be put out by a major corporation like Microsoft. Following the format and the submission forms used by the press release services will get most of the work done. Don't be intimidated by this. This isn't that hard, and it's hugely, hugely effective. Understand two more important things. Your press release will show in the current news results for 2 to 4 days, since more current news will push it back. Yes, we'd all love to stay at the top all day long, but there's always more news coming in, so that's going to push you down a little bit. But do this right, and for that time, you're going to be at the top of the first page. And even if you don't nail the number one ranking, you still get the benefits of syndication on a high-quality network of news sites for an immediate traffic boost and the long-term value of backlinks and credibility. You're really getting multiple benefits, remember, from this press release. It's not about putting out the press release like you're running an ad. Okay? This press release has incredible value that will benefit you in the long run, and doing this on a regular basis will really, really benefit you. Now, another thing is, press release services in some cases have an about section that you need to write about something. This is about you and your company. It's not about your product or service. So it simply would be a couple of lines about you or your company, or use your website name. So really low key. You talk about why you've got the website and wrote this press release, and you can even just have one sentence or two sentences. Just very, very simple. Again, you'll see in the examples how easy this is. So let's look at one more thing. I left this last because I don't want you to be focused on this part. I want you to get press releases out first and foremost. You can boost your rankings. You can make them better. You can make them last longer. You can really benefit this press release and the value and Google's perception of the value by getting some backlinks to the press release. Backlinks, links from other websites to it. They don't even have to be do follow. Really what we want to do is show Google that your news is getting noticed and it's being read and it's being passed around, because Google's going to consider that this is more valuable news than news that everyone is ignoring, especially a very boring press release that everybody's ignoring. For doing this, you need to social bookmark your news article once you get the URL of the press release that you posted. So once you post this, you can backlink that exact URL where the press release is posted. You can do it yourself, or you can just go grab a gig at Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com, everything costs $5 that you see advertised. You can find somebody on there for $5. They'll bookmark your URL with 2 to 3 different anchor texts to many different sites. And for $5, it's worth it. You can save yourself a lot of time doing this and get it done very quickly. They'll just blow this out in a day or so because it's what they do on a regular basis. You can also post your press release to your own social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can ask your friends and followers to like, comment, and share the news so that you create social activity with people clicking through and viewing your press release. So as you can see, press releases are a powerful online promotion tool that will bring you a constant stream of highly targeted free traffic, improve your global online presence, provide valuable backlinks to your website, and enhance your online reputation. So we strongly suggest you use these on a regular basis, and for your website that you try to push out one every week. The very minimum, you should push out one a month to keep building this cadre of backlinks and news presence and really improve your traffic and enhance your online reputation. Very important, very valuable, huge benefit for you to do this.